You can't really get a good quality smartwatch for $60, can you? Hey everyone, I'm Super SG and I'm here to answer that question. Can you get a good quality smartwatch for $60? In the world of smartwatches from the likes of Apple, Samsung, Garmin, those smartwatches can get pretty expensive really quickly. So there is some opportunity for a budget smartwatch to come into play, and that's where UXD's smartwatch comes in. Retailing for $59.99 on Amazon, the UXD smartwatch is pretty impressive. Inside the box, you're going to get the smartwatch with 2 straps, the USB charging cable, the owner's manual, and a couple of other pamphlets for advertising purposes. One thing to note about that USB charging cable, do not lose that cable. That is the only way that you can charge this watch. It's a magnetic charging cable. If you lose that, you're kind of screwed. There is no other USB cable that plugs directly into the watch, and there is no wireless charging. So if you lose this cable, you're out of luck. Which is unfortunate because this watch is actually pretty nice. You have pretty nice quality. If you look at the watch, the display isn't the best, but in terms of style, it looks pretty similar to an Apple Watch, except you don't have that little rotary on the side. You do have just a single push button. I have actually had someone confuse the UXD smartwatch for an Apple Watch, and they thought it was really cool. So the fact that a budget $60 smartwatch can impress people and confuse them to make it look like an Apple Watch, well, that might be enticing to some people. The battery life on this watch is exceptional. I've had it on for 6 to 7 days without even having to throw it on the charger once. And then even then, it didn't even die on me. I just threw it on the charger because I noticed it was getting too low, so I just threw it on there when I went to bed. And when I woke up, fully charged. There is a lot of cool functionality that's already pre-built into the smartwatch. But there's also the ZeroNer Health Pro application found on the App Store and on Google Play. This application is pretty in-depth and also offers more functionality and in-depth statistics that aren't found in the watch. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into an in-depth dive of the watch itself, and then after that we're going to dive into the application so that way we can get a full idea of what this watch has to offer. Alright, so now that we have the watch unboxed and on the wrist, we can take a look to see how it appears when you have it just wearing it normally. So you can see it kind of looks like an Apple Watch, except instead of the round circle disc, you have just one singular button. You also have a pretty nice included strap. It is a rubber strap, and it does have quite a few different size holes. So once we take the strap off and we take a look at the watch itself, I do have the watch powered off for the moment. On the back side, that's where all of your information is, how many atmospheres of pressure it can withstand, 20 millimeter standard watch strap, because this watch strap is removable. So if you just pull down on these tabs, like most other watches, you can take off the strap. So if you wanted to get a different 20 millimeter watch strap, you could do that as well. So I'll go ahead and for the sake of going over the watch, I'll take off both straps. It is currently powered down, so in order to power it up, you just go ahead and hit that side button. It will say hello and turn on. Pretty quick boot time, which is nice. So this is the main screen that you have. So this look is customizable. So if you press and hold down on the main screen, you can select between different watch faces. So this is the standard one it comes with. Then if you swipe up, you have a very familiar Apple Watch looking style. Swipe up again, you have a normal analog looking face. Swipe up, you have another Apple Watch combined with an analog face. And then the last one is a custom background that you can upload through the application. So you can see it also tracks a couple of different things. Going through the interface, the time, and then up in the upper right, it gives you battery life. That chain icon next to it symbolizes that it's paired to a device. So it's paired to my phone currently. Tells you the day, the time, day of the week, how well you are complete with your steps for the day, your calories for the day, and then depending on the other watch faces, you can have other things tracked as well. So you basically have 3 different pages that you can go through. So the first one, if you swipe down, we're on the first page, we'll say. If you swipe down, you go to your music control. So you can play, pause, forward, backward, and then increase and decrease the volume. This is really nice if you have wireless earbuds without touch controls or something like that. Your calories burned for the day, hours of standing, how many steps you've taken, your heart rate change throughout the day, and then back to your normal watch face. So this is the first page. So if you scroll to the next page just by swiping, that's where you get more detailed stuff. So you can see your active heart rate. So if you press on that, you can get your heart rate monitor. I pressed the wrong one. You can read your heart rate, and then you can just press the side button to return. Heart health, stress, oxygen levels for your blood, scientific sleep, messages. So you can sync this with your phone so that way you can see what messages you have. Then continuing down, you can set an alarm. You have a stopwatch on there, a timer, a compass, and then some additional settings. So this is page 2. If we move to page 3, that's where you get your quick activities. Any activity that you see in here, you can quickly press on it, and then that's it. That's the whole interface of the watch. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Now, a lot of the customization and a lot of cool stuff you get through the application. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the application and take a look at what the application has to offer. All right, so we have moved over into the ZeroNer Health Pro application. I'm currently on the Android version, but there is an iOS version as well. This is the main screen. This is your sport page. All of those instances up at the top, the footsteps, the hours stood, the calories burned, all of those live in the smartwatch. But here you can click on each of those individual categories and get kind of a better idea. So for example, I'm gonna touch the footsteps. You can see there throughout the day how many steps I've done through an hourly basis. And then down at the bottom, if you hit the D, that daily tab, that's going to show you what you've done throughout the week or through the month. You can scroll back and kind of get more information on how you've been doing. And that works for all three categories. So if you hit calories, you can see your calories, your standing hours, all of that is tracked in here as well. Just a little bit more history as compared to what is on the UXD smartwatch itself. Underneath that, you're going to have the sport section, which is going to track all of your running, your cycling, walking, swimming, whatever you did quick-wise on the smartwatch itself. One thing to note is that if we scroll over to the cycling tab, it says I did 1.1 miles of activity. That's incorrect. If I click on that, you can see that it shows you how long you've done for, what specific period of time and how long you've gone distance-wise. I tracked this same activity on Strava to see what type of discrepancies there were. There's a pretty big discrepancy. On Strava, I had 14 miles of that activity tracked, and then on the UXD smartwatch, it only tracked 1.1 miles. I don't know what the reasoning is. It could be that the calibration for the smartwatch is not correct, but just keep that in mind. If you're using Strava or any type of Google Fitness app or any other type of fitness app in general, I would still recommend tracking your activities on that as well. Underneath the sports section, you can see the sleep area. So you can see that I had a pretty good night's sleep last night, and then you can click on that as well to get a play-by-play. Back on the main page, you can see your heart rate. So if you click on that, you can bring up your heart rate. You can see how your instances of your heart rate have changed and fluctuated throughout the day. So if you had exercise periods, you can see what your highest was, what your lowest was. And then of course you can scroll through and see, wow, that was a really big peak. What was that? Oh, it was 106. Great. And then finally, down at the bottom, you have your stress. If you click on that, you can see your instances of stress that you've tracked on the smartwatch itself. So that's the sport tab. Let's go ahead and move on over to the device tab. This is where you're going to see a lot of the personalization and the customization that you can have for this. Also, the battery percentage lives in there as well. So you can change the dial. You can also upload a custom background onto here. That holder image of a cat is really weird. Underneath that, you have your alarm schedule, so you can set alarms. You can also set sedentary reminders. You have smart reminders, which is where you can set, if you get a text message or you get a phone call or anything like that, the smartwatch itself will start to vibrate and you will be notified when you have a notification. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and pause the video right now and take a look at all these different options. I'm going to quickly go through each one, and I'm not really going to discuss more than that. Easy camera opens up your phone camera for some reason. Time format changes between 12 and 24 hours. Date format swaps the month and the day. Unit of measurement swaps between imperial and metric. Language switch, you switch your language. Vibration reminder, you can choose your vibration pattern depending on the notification. Palming gesture is how sensitive the watch is when you turn it towards you to bring up the screen. Bright screen time is the time it takes for the watch's screen to go to sleep. Do not disturb is self-explanatory. Auto heart rate keeps the heart rate monitor on so you can pull it up whenever you need. Heart rate and guidance does something, I have no idea. Wearing manner swaps between your left and your right hand. Auto recognition for sports activities. And of course, the firmware version that you're currently running on your smartwatch. The last option at the very bottom is unbind. That allows you to unpair the watch from any smartphone. So that way, if you get a new phone or a new smart device, you can go ahead and unpair it from your current device and then pair it to a new one. All right, so for this final tab, it's the profile section. I went ahead and put up a black bar above my email address so no one spams me with a bunch of emails or knows my personal information. But this is where you get a couple of other customization options. So in the goal settings tab, that's where you can choose how many steps you want to take per day and what weight you want to try and set yourself for. Then if you go back, the 101 guide is going to be a guide for just how to use the smartwatch in the application. Help brings up a couple of quick questions that you might need. Clicking on link will bring up other applications that you can sync the smartwatch to. So you can have Google Fit or Strava. Strava didn't work for me. I can't get it to work no matter how many times I start an activity on the UXD. I'm not able to get it to pop up in Strava. And I do have all the preferences set correctly in Strava and on the UXD smartwatch, but unfortunately, I'm not getting any type of sync activity. The settings menu is one of the last menus on here. So if you click on that, you can change your password, you can change your unit of measurement, your temperature degrees. The last option down at the bottom is the permission settings. So if you click on that, you can select which permissions you would like to turn on or off. location settings, contact permissions, phone permissions, SMS permissions. So that concludes the Zeroner Health Pro app overview. We can go ahead and jump over to the main camera now, where I'll go ahead and give a wrap up of the review, and I'll give my honest thoughts on whether or not I recommend this $60 smartwatch. Alright, now that we've gone over the UXD Smart Watch interface and the Zeroner Health Pro application, it's time to give my final thoughts. Now, I have a lot of technology that I use on a day-to-day basis, and a smartwatch isn't one that I've ever used before. So when I had the opportunity to review a smartwatch, I decided, yeah, I definitely want to try that out and give my honest thoughts and opinions. The UXD smartwatch is actually a very surprising device for only $60. There's so much functionality built into the watch, and with the Zeroner Health Pro application, that combination is really stellar. Of course, there are a lot of smartwatches out there that can do what the UXD smartwatch does even better, but if you're on a budget and you're looking for a smartwatch with a lot of functionality, an application that goes along with it, and looks that compete with an Apple Watch, then I would highly recommend you get the UXD smartwatch. I have personally been using this watch for a couple of weeks now, and it's blown me away. I'm extremely impressed by the quality and how well it's been able to hold a charge. Not only that, but I'm able to check my heart rate whenever I want to. I can track activities. It's compact, not bulky. It doesn't feel weird on my wrist. The UXD smartwatch packs so much in such a small box that it's kind of surprising they were able to get it at this price point. So would I recommend a $60 smartwatch for you? Are you on a budget? Then yes. Do you have extra cash burning a hole in your pocket where you can buy a better smartwatch? Then probably not. But a smartwatch that's budget friendly, has great styling and a lot of functionality, you really can't complain for $60. So I would highly recommend this smartwatch if you were tight on cash or you're looking to save that extra money. Thanks again so much everyone for tuning into my review. I've been working hard on this one, and I've really been testing out this product before I upload this video. And I hope the in-depth dive of the functionality of not only the smartwatch but also the Zeroner Health Pro app help you guys a lot. Like always, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to be notified when I upload a new video. And for all my current subscribers, thank you so much for staying with me for the last couple of months and years, depending on how long you've been watching me for. One last time, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. See ya!